Hi, so I'm going to be showing you another way to work on the name project with text in Photoshop. So the last one that I did, I used this up here to set symmetry options for painting, and that was part of what we did in the background. And then we used the text tool, and we use this here, the warped text option up here, which is the T on top of the hill, and that's how we created arcs. But I'm just going to show you another option on how to approach this using the pen tool. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the pen tool to create some sort of painterly lines here, and then I'll show you how you can use it to direct your text. So you can use it for both. What I started off with is File New, and 8.5 by 11, 300 ppi, and that was my document size. Okay, and then I just went to the Paint Bucket tool, which hopefully everybody remembers that, and I chose a color, and I just filled the background with a solid color. Okay, because you don't want to start off with just a white background. I want you to do something more than that. So here's my background, which has this color on it, and then I chose another layer. I made a new layer that I'm working on here so that I'm not working on my background, okay? All right, so I'm using my sort of trusty pen tool here. I'm just going to make some lines, or I should say make a path. I'm actually not making a line yet. Okay. There's no rhyme or reason for what I'm doing. I'm just making something here for the sake of demonstration. Okay. So, whenever I have this the way I want it, okay, I can go to Stroke Path, and that will stroke it with whatever I have my brush settings as right now. Okay. So, I have it on, let's see, a soft round. I can decide if I want to keep it at that or change it to something else. Maybe this, let's see. I'm going to get rid of that soft round. I'm going to try this with this splatter tool here. Okay, so you're supposed to set your brush up first, which, you know what, I did not do. So, and there we go. Okay, so I had to go back and reset it. So I have this sort of splattery background in this sort of line that I created, in this path that I created, this swervy kind of thing I have going on here. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't want to see it anymore. Okay, so I have something like that. This by itself would be, you know, kind of boring. So I would add some more to that. Let's see, let's go now, I'll try a layer style. I don't know how much these are going to show up on that little bit. Oh, that made it lighter. Sort of like a light gray. Let's see. Outer glow. Okay, let's say I keep that. Okay. So I'll make another layer, make my color a little different, and maybe I'll go in and create some other kind of lines and do something else with it. I'm doing this kind of fast. You know, of course, ideally, you would spend more time on this and give it a lot more thought. But for the sake of this video not, you know, becoming an hour or something or dragging on for a longer time, I'm just going over this quickly, okay? So again, just creating the path that I want. And I can think ahead about the brush. So last time I had that spattery brush. Maybe I want to try something a little different. Maybe I'll try this one. See what it looks like. I don't know. Looks like it's really small, so I'm going to make it bigger. Maybe the opacity could come down. So you want to kind of set all of these things up before you jump in. It has to be set on the pen tool. Whoops. So that when I go to stroke path here, and I hit OK, it should stroke whatever I had the brush set at. I'm actually not a big fan of that. So I am going to try a different brush. And speaking of not being a fan of something, this is basically a lot of experimentation that we're doing here. So it should just be, you're trying stuff out. You're not sure if you're going to like it. Maybe you don't. So you try something else. I mean, that's the only way you're going to figure out what you do like, right? Okay, so we'll try this different option with that brush. Still not exactly what I was going for, but maybe it's better than what I had before. I'll get rid of that. And so then when you have something like this, you can always then go into different filters and options and, change it around, do something different with it. Let's see, artistic, different effects. I'm not sure how much these will have an effect on what I have there, but I guess we could give it a try. It really didn't make that big a difference. I think we're going to need to mix it up a little bit more here. Let's see. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? This is a smudge tool. I'm just not a fan of these edges here, right? I just don't like how, I don't know, it's kind of a hard edge. So I'm actually going to make this even, let's see, a bit bigger. Now it's kind of getting rid of the whole thing entirely. And right now, if you're wondering why my smudge tool does look so weird, it is because over here in my brushes, wow, that is really changing it. Over here in my brushes, see, this is my smudge tool. I've changed the original smudge tool option. So this is called Kyle's Paintbox Wet Blender 50. So that's what I'm using. And it just has a much stronger kind of smudging effect. And smudge tools don't really lay color down. They more smush around what you already have, the colors that you've already put down. So anyway, I could sit here and kind of play with this if I wanted to get more of this painterly look, layering more on top, and going in and kind of changing that up as much as I want to. It keeps sort of completely eradicating what I had underneath. I can also go and play around with these different blending modes here. Some of them kind of take it away entirely. Maybe you like what happens with some of these, maybe you don't. But again, it's just more options, more things to test. Maybe we'll keep it on that one, Vivid Light. Anyways, so you're going to work on your background and what you want to have going on back there. Honestly, for this, I would definitely add more to it. I think it's kind of plain. But I'm going to go ahead and move on just for the sake of this demo, because I want to talk about how, I'm going to add another layer here. So adding another layer, and we're going back to the pen tool. I want to talk about how I can put text on top of this using the pen tool and have some say over the direction of the text. So I can actually create a path. Let's see, I meant to curve this a little bit more. I'm going to move these anchor points around in a minute because they don't look exactly the way I want them to. Okay. So I want a better curve with that one. Right, so making some adjustments. So I'm on a Mac right now, so I'm holding the Command key while I move these around. It's going to be a little different for you if you were on a PC. Okay. So let's say this is my path, right? So I can go to text and sorry here. There we go. So what I was trying to do that I was messing up is I clicked on text and it just was giving me horizontal text. But what I was doing is having the text follow that path. Now this lorem ipsum, all this stuff you see here, that's not the text that I'm going to have on there, okay? That's just kind of showing the path and size that I have set up and how it's going to flow. So I am, let's see, I'm going to change it to that. Let's see what color I have here. I'm going to make this darker. And this is the cool part. So I'm going to start typing, and my text is going to follow this path that I just made. So Carrie Beagler, right? It's going to need to say class of 1992. Okay, so part of your project is putting your graduation date, and I want you to try more than one font. So I just switched to another one, and I could use a different color. I know this looks like it's black. I don't really like the way that spaces out my numbers there, so I'm going to hit the space bar. I don't like the way that, I should say, the way it crunches up my numbers there. It's not really what I was looking for, so can put a little more space. Let's see. And get things where I want them to be. Clicking in there, a little space more there. And I could make these, make this bigger. This text is a lot like the text I just used. So maybe I don't want that at all. Maybe I want to try something a little different. And maybe I want this text to be a different color. So I'm going back up here to all my font choices. And look at how many choices you have, right? So maybe I'll try this one. And now it's blue. The spacing is a little weird. Again, that's partially because I have it going around this curve. So you might have to kind of play around with that one. Remember we talked about kerning. We learned about kerning. That's an example of bad kerning. Maybe I have to space these out differently. Maybe I have to pick something, different font altogether. Or maybe I have to adjust my path so it doesn't curve so tightly. But the point is that this is an option you have. You can create a path and then click on it to have your text follow that path. So I'm actually going to get rid of that and do that one more time because I kind of botched it in the beginning. And let's make it a little bit of a softer bend. So I liked the way it started off here. But maybe this is a little softer here. Okay. So maybe I'm going to have my text follow that. Okay. So I can go over here to the T, or I can hit T on the keyboard as well. That's a shortcut. And then you want to make sure that, so I'm going to go back so you can see what I just did. You want to make sure, see when my, this little, I don't know what you call it, but it's the little symbol for text. When I'm up here, you see what it looks like. And then when it touches the path, you can see that little wave shows up, right? That's what you want. That's saying, okay, we're ready to put the type here.